model of satisfaction is wrong. Here's the world tells you. Work hard, make money, be successful, be admired, be envied. Bank it, die happy. And it's wrong. And there's anything about money, by the way. The research on money is very clear that it doesn't actually ever bring happiness. It lowers unhappiness, which are processed in different hemispheres of the brain. Happiness and unhappiness are not opposites. They're different experiences. And what happens is at low levels, money will lower unhappiness. So when I could finally go to the dentist, I felt better. The trouble is I don't know how to do the sums inside my brain. I just knew I felt better. And we always mistake lower unhappiness for higher happiness. And so early on, you're like, wow, I went from $15,000 to $20,000 a year, and I felt better. I actually felt better about myself. I was able to eliminate some of these sources of misery, so I'm happier. And so you get into the pattern early on. You wire your brain when you're a young person working your way up the ladder. More money, feel better. That means more happiness. And you realize that going from $250,000 to $300,000 is not doing it. That because it's not big enough jump apparently. And so you go and you go and you go and you go and you go, and you're basically just chasing a lure. It's a real tyranny. Generally speaking, it has to do with being in the zone of what you actually love to do and what you appreciate most in your life, when you're in line with your own values, when you're living according to your own values. So Jung would have put it this way. Carl Jung, his definition of his understanding of happiness was that you need to understand your own values, what you value, what you think is proper and correct and moral. And if you know what that is and can articulate it and live according to that, you will be happy. Do
you agree with that?
I think it's actually, there's a lot of truth to that. Because you have to figure out what you think, what your model of the world actually is, what you think truth is. And then living in accord with your own values, with your own integrity is really critically important, because when people live outside that groove, they're never in equilibrium. They're just never, the problem is that they're not comfortable. They're not comfortable in their own skin. And I've noticed this, I was working, it was good being the president of a think tank. I was lucky to be president of a think tank. I believed in the work, but it wasn't who I was. And so I was kind of out of my groove for 10 and a half years. And when I went back to writing and speaking and teaching and doing creative work, I said, it's
Is that
weird.
Always who you were?
I talked to a guy who's putting in cabinets in my house. And he's super into putting in cabinets. He loves making cabinets. He was talking about all the details, and he's so proud of his work. And I say, do you like your work? And he said, doesn't feel like work. I went on a fishing expedition, deep sea fishing expedition with my son Carlos. He loves to fish. We go fishing, and the guy says every morning I wake up and he says, "Today I'm going fishing." And so this is what we all need to find. The problem is that people chase these extrinsic lures, the money, power, pleasure, and fame, and they get out of the groove of what they're supposed to do, and then they wonder why they're unhappy.